out there down the home stretch, Sheila Reid was coming on strong. Nicole was right there. At one point, did you kind of really feel comfortable knowing that you're going to win?
After you get across the line, you never really know you're going to win until it's done, right? So, because anything can happen, even though, that's what sometimes it comes down to a lean, right? So I was pretty confident in my acceleration over the last 100 meters. So I definitely wasn't nervous, but I was boxed in for a bit. So it's always like not the best place to be, but with the wind and stuff, I knew it wasn't the worst place to be either. So
is there any point in the last lap where you're kind of like worried about? Okay, I'm like boxed in at this point of the lap, like.
It was a lot worse last year, so and it turned out okay. It usually always opens up in the last 100 meters. But yeah, definitely when you're like boxed in with 400 meters to go, and I was behind Mariah, and I knew that if Nicole and Sheila were going to make a big surge at 400, I was not in a good place to cover it. So so yeah, it's always a little bit nerve-wracking when you're on the rail for so long, but yeah, you just kind of have to be patient and not panic because that just wastes energy. So.
What was it like having Lucia in the race?
It was great. Honestly, in the final, I didn't really think about her a lot, which is what I should have been doing, right? Like, I had to focus on my own race. But in the heats, it was definitely a little distracting, having a sister. I was in the race. I remember there was one point in the race where Nicole took over the lead from me, and Lucia was on the outside on my shoulder. And I tried telling her, like, Lou, rail, like, get on the rail. So, because that would be a good place for her to be, but she decided not to go there because she wanted to be on the outside of lane 1, which is strategically the best place to be, so you don't get boxed in. So yeah, the heats was definitely a little distracting because I was focused on her getting through to the final. But in the final, I could only think about myself, right? So, which is good. I'm happy it wasn't more distracting having a sister in the race.
I saw that you had maybe like some family members wearing the Stafford sisters t-shirt. What's
Yeah.
the backstory behind that?
Oh, my aunt Sarah Gardner, who was also a runner like back in the day. She just asked my rep up at Brooks Canada if they could order some like personalized t-shirts with Stafford sisters on the back, and so yeah, they just kind of made that happen. So they had like a little fan club t-shirt, which is really cool, like seeing them all. I don't know, it's really cool. It's great to have such a supportive family. So yeah.
Heading into Worlds now, how does this race set you up and how are you feeling?
I feel good. I feel like emotionally more even keel than I did last year, which this was just like a huge like high, and it was exhausting emotionally, mentally, and physically to come back after that to training. And I feel, my season got going a little bit later. I feel just more like emotionally and mentally stable, more focused. So I think, I'm gonna enjoy the victory and celebrate a bit, but it's just like back to business. And, the focus was always Worlds this time around. So my training is geared towards that, is geared towards peaking in August. So now it's just, business as usual, continue with the plans.
What was the Diamond League like? I think it was your first.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was, it was unlike anything I'd ever experienced, even in Rio, because I was on the first night and there weren't a lot of finals that night. The crowd wasn't huge. It was obviously amazing, but the crowd was so small that I could hear my family. I could hear my dad in the race. Like that's like not supposed to happen at an Olympics. So Rome, there was like several thousand fans. I don't know how many. Probably like so many fans. And European racing is so tactical and physical and pushing and shoving, and it was definitely a shock, but it was so much fun. It was an amazing experience to be there, and to come away with a PB in a race like that where there were so many girls on the line, so much physical racing. It couldn't have gone any better, so I was really pleased with it. Yeah.
And that PB in a race that isn't exactly perfect, what does that tell you about what you might be able to do in a more perfect race?
Yeah, I mean, like, if you can always say what if, right? Even if you run like a world record, you could be like, oh, what if, this 200 was a bit quicker. So I try not to focus on that too much, but it definitely tells me that there's more in the tank, It's always hard to get that breakthrough because I've been locked into 407s for so long. So it's just hard. It's just hard even when you're fit enough to do it to just get that underway. But yeah, in like a perfect race, I think I could run like closer to 403, maybe even faster. Especially now, I feel training's been going better. Yeah, I always hope to go faster. So one day I'd love to break 4. So that's always the goal. So
Do you have any sense of what you might need? I know you want to get semifinals ahead that you think is going to be needed?
Yeah, well, in championship racing at Worlds, it's very hard to PB, just because the race is there's so many pace changes. It's very tactical. It's really physical. Usually starts out really slow. Like the first heat went like 4:12 at the Olympics last year. So I don't think like time-wise, I don't know what I need, but I just have to have a good finish. Like probably close in like sub 60 and just be tactically in a good spot. So yeah, we'll see.
Is that easier or harder racing that way?
I don't know. It's just different. It's harder for some reasons. It's easier for other reasons. But it's definitely draining. So especially when you're unused to it. North American racing is very like steady pace.
Was it tricky having the 1500 like at the very end of this championships? Like I know there's a lot of like distractions and stuff.
Totally. Everyone was going out and partying yesterday. It was like, oh man, I want to party, but I have a race to do.
Yeah.
So I mean, you just got to do what you got to do, right? You just got to focus. But it was kind of it's upsetting because I couldn't hang out at the track and see my teammates race like I wanted to. But you just got to focus on yourself, and I could watch the stream, and they all understand. So yeah. Yeah,
A lot of downtime, I'm guessing.
Yeah, a lot of like you just gotta stay calm. So yeah, but that's not a bad thing necessarily.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks.